Hey friends and lovers, and welcome to a new episode of How to Live Creatively, an iteration of my first 3 episodes called How to Be an Independent Artist. So I started my How to Be an Independent Artist series filming myself all day and then narrating through the day so you could see like a day in the life. When I was filming my first 3 episodes of this series where you would watch me all day do whatever it is I do all day, I decided to switch it up a bit because I don't care to watch myself all day. I also felt so staunchly aware. On this last time I did it, on this 4th day of filming myself, I felt so deeply aware of how staged everything is. And I know that it's that's how we do it. We stage it, and social media is about staging the moment and filming the moment that is staged, and I get it. But I just am not sure if that's something I want to keep doing. So I figured I would take some of what I filmed that day and I would actually just tell you a little bit about some of it and not the entirety of it. So these may not be quite so long form anymore, but I hope that they're still interesting. And the thing I want to start with first is how I try to start most days. I try to start most days by reading and writing in my journal. The book that I am reading right now is Ibram X. Kendi. So if I am doing really well with my day, I wake up at 7 and I do a half hour of reading and a half hour of writing, and then my workout is from 8 to 9, and then by about 9:30 or so, I am sitting at my desk as I am sitting here at 9:30 at night doing the work. I figured I would start with that this week for living creatively and making life more imaginative. I actually want to talk about why it's so important to be reading. Why reading as the first thing you do in your day. I know you need to read the news, and I know some people will do the news in the morning and a book later in the day. I do all my news at this point through podcasts and audio because that's just how I'm taking it in. But starting with a book, I never end with a book. I won't end with a book. I end with work. That's just who I am in my soul. I'm not endorsing it. I'm just being honest. Beginning with a book, though, is just something that I can't recommend enough. I am currently reading and almost finished with How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi. And this is the book that everybody bought in 2020. Many of us bought it and didn't read it. And it has sat on our shelves. And I am so grateful for where it is in my life right now. I am so grateful to be spending this time with Ibram in my mornings in March. It feels like the right time for me. A lot of this book I already know and agree with and I'm down with, but I love having the way he articulates and emphasizes and more deeply pronounces what I already deeply and firmly and thoroughly believe. So I want to share this paragraph in his incredible chapter on class, which is, I think, very important. It says, "To love capitalism is to end up loving racism. To love racism is to end up loving capitalism. The conjoined twins are 2 sides of the same destructive body. The idea that capitalism is merely free markets, competition, free trade, supplying and demanding, and the private ownership of the means of production operating for a profit is as whimsical and ahistorical as the white supremacist idea that calling something racist is the primary form of racism. Popular definitions of capitalism, like popular racist ideas, do not live in historical or material reality. Capitalism is essentially racist. Racism is essentially capitalist. They were birthed together from the same unnatural causes, and they shall one day die together from unnatural causes. Or racial capitalism will live into another epoch of theft and rapacious inequity, especially if activists naively fight the conjoined twins independently, as if they are not the same." Now, I like to look at everything from an artist lens, and that's why I'm an activist, because I'm an artist. I believe that artists should be activists, and activists are not necessarily artists, but they should listen to artists. That's what I think, and I think that artists make great activists. And for me, yes, reading social justice books absolutely impact my creativity. Reading this kind of anchoring social justice ethos understanding deeply the firm, rock solid relationship between racism and capitalism is very important. It is essential to understanding how capitalism impacts all of us as artists. So for me, having time with a book like this, it just having this affirming space. And when I move through my world, now I don't do it very well. I am deeply depressed. I was just in VR feeling really, really sad about myself and fighting with my partner in VR about how he's not supporting me enough in all of my sadness because I am deeply depressed about being an artist. Okay, but the truth is when I talk to other people about their art, I'm like, yeah, well, of course, you live in capitalism. So we have a system that does not support your artistry. We have a system that attacks women and femmes and queers and people of color, and reading books like this affirms that for me and helps me strengthen my lens and my approach to being an anti-capitalist as an artist. I just think that starting your day with the reading of someone else, with someone else's writing style, with like appreciating them as they are, as a creative thinker and someone who got a book published, it's just like, I think it's a vastly important way to be able to start your day. So I don't know if people even would do like 10 minutes in the morning of reading a book. It's just an incredibly important aspect for me, I think, of living creatively. And from that day, from last Friday, the day that I filmed, I'll also give you one more bit, which is writing a play. I spent my time at the end of the day with my incredible friend and collaborator, Megan Markham, who I will be performing with on Zoom in April, on April 15th for my Zoom series called Please Don't Touch the Artist. And she and I have a show that we are doing together called The Tissue Girls. And it's hard to explain what The Tissue Girls is about, other than empathic creative types who are deeply connected to their feelings. And we have a hard time living in the world because of that. I think a lot of people can relate. I think a lot of people would probably relate to this show because it is about when emotions spill over. And not all of us let emotions spill over, but some of us do, and I think it might be quite cathartic for you to experience that. So anyway, we got together over Zoom and we're banging out the last of the script, and writing a script is a lot of work, even for your online series. And finishing a script is such a triumph. And I do not give credit to myself like enough, I think, as a creative person. And I just want to say that a script, even for something you might only do once in your life, is such a wonderful accomplishment. And I think like living creatively can also mean just doing small things.
The whole lighting has changed. Everything has changed. And also, I am so bare bones today. No makeup Vaughn.
Me too. I mean, no makeup Meg. I had a headband on earlier, but it was Nanny Meg. It was day, you know.
So we wrote the whole fucking play though.
Yeah.
And we even submitted it to the staff. And then on Monday, where's my book? And then on Monday, this is what I hate, is like, oh no, I want to work on this weekend because I'm out of room for my to-do list next week. But I didn't finish the to-do list. It's not done. I didn't finish it. So I have to be like, okay, 22nd, 23rd.
Get some blue tape. Just pull it out and tape it into your new one.
Like reading books in the morning and writing a play that's going to be performed online that maybe 30 people will go to. I actually think 30 people is a lot of people, all things considered. But 30 people might go to it, and that might be it. And that is still a marvelous thing that a creative person can do. And the only reason I get to do it is because I just put it out there. And I just think that so much of being a creative person, an artistic person, someone who is working on whatever kind of path towards joy, towards getting to do the thing you want to do and that you love to do, I think a huge part of that is just finding a way to put it out there in front of people. And I can talk more about that later if you want. But today I just wanted to really emphasize reading other people's work in the beginning of my day, which is what I did last Friday, and then ending the day with writing my own work, which is what I did also last Friday night. And I'm just gonna fade out with some video of me eating popcorn, taking an online class, watching people who I feel like are much more successful than me talk about what they do and not really relating to them and being really uncertain about my own future and feeling deeply unnerved about that. It also happened in the same day, that Friday. And sometimes living creatively literally just means not reading in the morning, not writing at the end of the day, but eating popcorn, staring into the void of your deeply unknown future. Thank you. See you next week.
If you had any harebrained schemes, if you already had a big bold vision, I wanted to check.
Not in this moment. No.
No, that's perfect.
Which is perfect. Yep. Okay, amazing. Okay, love you.
Love you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.